Greetings everyone and welcome back to the Bionicle Retro Review, and today we are looking at the Boxor, and starting off with just the set number, it is 8556 Boxor vehicle, if you want to call it. Piece count 155, 57, my mistake, 157, and retail price was $15, and of course time of release was 2002, if that wasn't obvious, because it's been a 2002 wave of Bionicle. But anyway, here looking at the Boxor, and this is the first, I think, vehicle set of Bionicle as of so far. Obviously, this is the first set of vehicles, and there's not too many in all, but this is the first. This is where it started from. This is the progenitor of it all, but aside from that, so that's already pretty cool right there. That's a pro, if you will, but let's actually get into the actual proper pros. So starting off with the color scheme, because I actually really like the color scheme of the black, gray, and orange, because, you know, it's literally Naparu's colors, but just in not in any colors, just his colors. And the pro will be that you can put him in and out of the thing. You can just flip that arm in the back and you can take him right out, or put him in. You know, it's kind of hard to put him out. All right, but yeah, so before we finish off looking at the box, let's actually look at Naparu, which is a Matoran. Well, technically not a Matoran, because he has two disc throwing arms, and plus he was not released with the McDonald's Bionicle Matoran wave, because he wasn't there. So he's not Matoran, but he's basically Matoran. So he just has two throwing disc arms, and I want to compare him to an Onu Koro Matoran, which is Onipu. And so yeah, this is the different arm that all Matorans get, and he does not have that. So that's the only thing that makes him different from that, but basically that's what he is. He's a Matoran. He does not come with a disc. He only has, well, nothing but the Boxor, and that's all he has. So just a nice side-by-side comparison, which is pretty cool. A little purple mask and an orange mask. I think those masks look really cool. Picars are my favorite mask. But we're not talking about masks. We're talking about the set, Bionicle, particularly Naparu, which is the same Naparu that we'll see later on in 2006 when we get to the toy Nika, but that's for another time. Anyway, so nothing to stand out. He's just a Matoran. If you want to see that review of how I feel about the Matorans, then please go check that out on, well, not on, but just in the description or on the side corner of the screen, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get looking at the Boxor. And now another pro would be that it has the gear function. It can just punch out like that. Now it's supposed to go back in. It only doesn't because mine has a lot of dust on it, and yeah, so if you get this set, I would say wash it, at least. Like, wash all the pieces and build it back up, and then try it, because yeah, if you don't, it's gonna have all that dust. It's gonna do that, and it's not gonna go back in. It's just gonna sit there. So that's not a con. That's just it kind of is, it kind of isn't, but I'm gonna count as a pro because the function is pretty cool. And then yeah, so take that as you will. Anyway, another pro, you can flip this back and you can easily snugly put the pro in. I always show you how you take them out, but this is how you put them in, with this nice little harness right there that he holds them in snugly. And you can just flip that down and he's in. Pretty easy. This is any Matoran or Tahunga, whatever you want to call them, can fit in just like that. So if you want to put someone else in, you could, and if you have more Boxers, you can have a whole bunch of them, but up to you. I mean, of course. So that's a good pro right there, and I already mentioned the color scheme, and that's it. So that's really it with the pros. So with the cons, let's go ahead and get into the cons. Cons is that Neparo himself sticks in pretty, you know, kind of loosely, because, you know, he's for once he's actually in there pretty good, but normally he's kind of rattling and kind of like shaking and holding damn near for dear life. But he's kind of like just in there with hardly any protection, because something can easily just knock his mask off and he's pretty much, you know, got, because the Borak can easily just poop, flip his mask off and he's got. So that's a bit of a con there. And another thing is that this faceplate piece of the Borak, which I think is pretty cool, but the only thing that makes it kind of a con is it just sits there. It just flops. It doesn't really hold too well on anything. It's just there, and then you flip it and it kind of just sits there, and then if you flip the whole thing back, it just kind of hangs in midair. And I know the arm piece back here can hold it, but it's still just kind of just a piece that just shakes and rattles. It feels very, I don't know, cheap, incomplete. I guess it just doesn't feel very secure. It don't feel very like sturdy. It's just there. So kind of don't like that too much, but it is what it is. It was 2002. What do you really expect? Another con is the arm piece actually back there. Only if you change out the arm, you can change Neparo's arm and give him the proper arm. He can be a proper Matoran, if you will. But the only thing that makes it kind of awkward is if you do that, you know, I heard from other reviewers and other people that the arm in the back will break or get, it messes up the other arm. So I'm not going to try that, because I'm kind of like terrified to try that, because if I do, then I'm afraid it's going to break or mess up. And why even do that? Just leave it alone. Just let him be unique with his two disc throwing arms. I mean, that's honestly, I think that's way cooler. He can throw two discs at once if you know how to do it just right. But yeah, so yeah, that's it with that. So this is not a con. This is more of just, it's not gonna be a con in this video, but in the next video it's going to be. And that's with the color scheme, because the color schemes, it's just Neparo's colors, because Neparo made it and it's just in his colors, because it just is, because it makes the most sense, because why wouldn't it be? And it makes sense because it's made in Onu Koro, so I can get behind it this time. But in the next review, I personally am gonna have to kind of be like, that didn't make any sense. I don't really, it kind of don't really like that too much, because I mean, it's a fine look, but this time it's fine, but next video it isn't. But that will probably conclude this review of the Boxor. Not much to say about it, because it's all around pretty much a good set. I mean, it's hard to really say, oh, it's bad, don't get it, don't spend your money on this. It's like, no, get it. It's a good set. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's worth the have. I would recommend this to anyone to get. And if I was giving it a score, which I am going to give it a score, I'll give it a 7.7. Yeah, that's right there. It's a pretty good set. It's like, not the set's gonna blow your freaking mind, but it's a pretty cool set to have. And if you have it already, it's like, man, that's pretty cool to have. So yeah, so those are my thoughts on the Boxor. Join me next time when I look at the Exo Tower. So now that makes a little bit more sense while I'm talking about the color scheme, but you probably already got that anyway. But that is it. I have been your host, RobeTheMatoran, and I'll see you all in the next Bionicle Rich review.